Prince Zuko of the Fire Nation spent 3 years trying to litigate it with a broadsword. We must begin with the scar. It is not a trauma, it is a geography. It divides his face into two distinct legal jurisdictions. The right side is the prince, pristine, unblemished, carrying the heavy genetic architecture of Fire Lord Zozin. The left side is the exile, a permanent texture reminder that in the Fire Nation, parental love is measured in degrees Celsius. Initially, Zuko's psychology is as subtle as a combustion vendor at a fireworks factory. He is a walking nerve ending wrapped in a top knot. He suffers from a terminal case of narrative myopia. He genuinely believes he is the protagonist of a classic epic, where capturing a 12-year-old monk frozen in a block of ice will magically turn his abusive father into a pro dad who wants to play catch. Enter the counterweight. If Zuko is a wildfire, Uncle Iroh is a perfect sun-damp blanket. Their relationship is a masterclass in philosophical friction. Zuko operates on a dialectic of pure unadulterated velocity. He believes that if you move fast enough, your problems cannot catch you. Iroh operates on the physics of sea. What Zuko failed to realize is that Iroh wasn't teaching him patience. He was teaching him basic thermodynamics. You cannot bend fire if you are entirely consumed by the smoke of your own ego. Iroh's genius was treating Zuko's rage as a moral failing but as an inefficient fuel source. They're cheap coal instead of refined lightning. The true turning point isn't a battle, it's a menu. In the Earth Kingdom, Zuko is forced to consume the one thing his royal palate cannot stomach: humility. He is stripped of his title, his armor, and his ship. He is left with nothing but his dual broadswords. Notably, swords are not a firebender's weapon. They require proximity. They require you to look at your opponent in the eye without burning them away. The sword forced Zuko to touch the world he wanted to conquer. Zuko's arc is not linear. It is a violent pendulum. Most Western redemption stories rely on sudden blinding, epiphany, a light bulb, goes up, the villain says, "My apologies," and they join the hero team. Zuko, however, opts for the more agonizing realistic route, the relapse. When offered everything he ever wanted, his father's love, his royal status, his sister's conditional approval, he takes it. And this is where the writing elevates from good children's television to high literature. The writers understand a fundamental psychological truth. Getting what you thought you wanted is the ultimate punishment for a world. Getting what you thought you wanted is the ultimate punishment for a flawed worldview. Returns home a hero, and he is miserable. The food is perfectly seasoned, the silk is immaculate, and his father smiles at him, yet he is suffocating. Why? Because the scar on his face no longer matches the landscape of his mind. He has spent too looking at the world from the dirt up to enjoy looking at it from the throne down. His anger, once an external weapon aimed at the Avatar, turns inward. It becomes a diagnostic tool. He realized that the Fire Nation isn't spreading greatness, it is running a global protection racket. When Zuko finally switches sides, he doesn't do it with a grand cinematic speech. He does it with the social grace of a wet cat. This is where the humor becomes deeply philosophical. Zuko attempting to be one of the good guys is hilarious because he has absolutely no vocabulary for friendship. He only knows two modes of human interaction: obedience and subjugation. He must earn his place through a series of narrative field trips. He takes Sokka to a maximum security prison, he takes Katara on a revenge mission, he takes Aang to make the original masters. In doing so, he doesn't just win their trust, he unlearns his own cultural condition. With the dragons, Zuko's philosophical journey concludes. He's discovered that fire is not destruction. It is not the heat of his father's anger, or the cruelty of his sister's blue flame. Fire is life. It is the sun. It is energy. By changing his definition of his element, he changes his definition of himself. He ceases to be a weapon of the state and becomes a steward of the balance. In the end, Zuko's story teaches us that honor isn't something granted by an authority figure. It is not a certificate of good behavior from a tyrant. Honor is the alignment between your internal truth and your external truth. He kept the scar because he couldn't heal, but because you don't paint over the foundation of a house, just because it survived a fire. It stands as a monument to a simple, brilliant truth. It is entirely possible to be born into darkness, raised by a monster, until choose to be a human.